Welcome to Wellness Revolution, created and hosted by Tommy Lockwood, wellness entrepreneur and media professional. A show created for the purpose of achieving total wellness, spiritual, physical, and financial. Here is your host, Tommy Lockwood.
Welcome to Wellness Revolution. I'm your host, Tommy Lockwood, producer and creator of this platform. And I just want to say that my wellness entrepreneurship, that's another part that I left out, is what the theme of today's show is about, which is lifestyle awakening. And we're coming to you live from Business Miami, Coral Gables. And today is a very special time because a lot of us find ourselves in very interesting times. There's a lot of information out there in the internet, and a lot of us are self-educating. So in this edition of Wellness Revolution, I have a very special guest. Her name is Olga Job, and she is a coach, a wellness coach, and a wellness entrepreneur. So this space, as I told you before, provides the opportunity for others to inspire, educate, and inform, like I do on this platform. And I want to take it directly into the background of my special guest. Olga Job is a social entrepreneur that owns a holistic wellness business that helps people learn how to manifest and achieve their potential through meditation, nutrition, and business strategies. Originally from Curaçao, a Dutch Caribbean island, Olga moved to the United States over 15 years ago to further her career in business and in health. She earned a bachelor's and master's degree in business administration with a specialization in management and international business. Olga struggled with her weight, sugar addiction, depression, stress, and other health issues for decades, and helped herself become healthier, stable, and happier by implementing a holistic lifestyle and mindset of change. She combined her talents of business, health, and acquired her health coaching certification from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. As a certified holistic health and lifestyle coach, Olga works with busy professionals and entrepreneurs to guide and support them to live a healthier and happier life by focusing on the mind, body, and soul as a whole to find the food and lifestyle choices that improves energy, balance, and overall wellness. Today, she shares her concept of eating in abundance rather than lack and deprivation with the world and her clients in her 7 weeks lifestyle awakening health coaching program. Besides holistic nutrition, she helps her clients find balance and assist them to manage other areas in their lives that affects their overall health, such as balancing their potential and managing and fulfilling their career, incorporating regular physical activity, and nourishing their personal spiritual practices to increase their awareness, which are all essential forms of nourishment. She also works as a corporate wellness consultant with corporations around the world to help companies boost employee morals, satisfaction, and increase productivity to decrease absenteeism. As a social entrepreneur, she is involved with helping the community to become healthier and happier by implementing solutions to social, cultural, or environmental issues and create social value for humanity by teaching and implementing experiences that helps others elevate their connection with higher consciousness and the planet. And that is what we're all about here in Wellness Revolution. And it is my great pleasure to have Olga on the show. How are you doing, Olga?
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling wonderful and very honored to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
How was that for an epic introduction?
Very well, thank you. I'm honored for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and this platform, like I've explained to you before coming on, it's all about sharing the journey, because a lot of us are finding, like I said earlier in the show, the information that is coming from all sorts of directions and sources. Doctors and people that are not doctors that have managed great results, entrepreneurs that are into perhaps, selling these protein shakes and things like that. There's so many things that people think are good for them or bad for them. And I personally, have studied under two of my mentors, one from the West Indies, who taught me about herbs and fasting. The second one was the great herbalist Dr. Sebi, who was renowned for his alkaline lifestyle of choices of eating that are as closest to nature as possible. And that is just my background, and I was blessed to have mentors at the stages that I needed them. And I surely was confused out there too, and I did many things wrong because I listened to books and articles and things like that. And it wasn't until I really received some in-depth guidance, some connection with another human being, another energy that is able to hear you and listen to what's going on in your life at the time. Because the reality is there's so many things that we're learning about the body that go beyond the physical, right? There are many realms of ourselves. There's many dimensions of our being, like spiritual, emotional, right. Some say spiritual body, emotional body, physical body. But anyway, mentors allow a sort of like a discernment with what's going on. And that's what I really appreciated about my mentorship. And I know based on what we talked about is that's how you deal with your individuals that you're caring for them. You're caring for these individuals that come to you, and you have to do it in so many different ways, because there's so many different universes within us, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And like you said, there is a lot of information out there, and we're so used to listening what others tell us rather than listening to what our bodies are telling us and our intuition. And if we take time to connect with our inner self, our bodies will tell us exactly what to eat, when to sleep, what to do. So it's about connecting with that inner self and helping others, which I'm doing through my clients and myself, is learning how to connect with your intuition, learning how to sit still or be still and be present so that you can absorb all of the information that your intuition is telling you.
Being present is you can't put it more simpler than that, because it really is about living in the moment, and taking a breath. That's why breath is such an important practice in the Eastern traditions, because it just allows us to channel life. Like we are alive, and you breathe, because that's what life is. It's a wave, like we see the ocean coming in and out.
Right. We can be a few days without food and a few days without water, but we can't be without air for a few minutes. So the breath and breathing is the most important aspect of our lives. And we do have to take time to breathe in and breathe out as best as possible, and focusing on the air coming in and out. Also, when we do that, we're breathing from the diaphragm, which allows the parasympathetic nervous system to activate, which is really what helps us to relax and help us to let go. And when the body is in that state of relaxation, that's when the body can really heal. So taking time to be present and breathing in and out and just connecting with yourself, which is what we are, is our breath, then we can tap more into that intuition that we've been talking about.
Wow, that's brilliant. And I've actually never heard that explanation, so thank you so much for sharing that expertise. And talking about that, I just want to open the space and just say, hey, what got you into this journey to begin with? A lot of people would love to know this.
Yes. Well, I struggled with my weight since I was about 10 years old. As soon as I was introduced to sugar and candies and all that stuff, that's when my life went out of control. I just was addictive to anything that had sugar in it. And back then I didn't understand that I could have reached happiness from other sources, in this case the higher self, right? So I did seek sugar for that comfort, for that fulfillment. So it all started there, and I was bullied in school when I started gaining weight, and that's when I started suffering from depression, and I started just hating myself. I remember looking into the mirror and just asking myself, who are you, and why are you so fat, and why can't you control your emotions and your feelings? And so I tried different diets. You know how it is with dieting. It's restricting, it's eliminating, it's the lacking mentality. So I struggled with that for almost 20 years, in and out, trying different diets, low this, low that, and I would still gain it back. And so when I went to college, I started focusing on other aspects of nurturing myself and helping myself be happy. So I started reading a lot. That's when I started learning more about meditation. And after I graduated from my master's in business administration and I was working for corporate America, I did feel that stress. I didn't know how to manage that along with what I was going through, which was the depression, the sugar addiction, and all that stuff. So as soon as I started focusing on the abundant mentality rather than the lack, so focusing on what should I be adding into my life rather than restricting, right? So what can we add? We can add the nature-derived foods, the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the seeds, superfoods. We have super herbs, all these things, or eating organic, allowing yourself to be as best as possible away from chemicals, which is what sugar was bringing to me. So I started feeling different. I had a vibration of abundance, and it's way different than when you're on a diet and you're eliminating and you're thinking about lack. So that's when I started really healing myself, and I started knowing, okay, I'm actually feeling better. So what can I do to continue to add to that emotion? And that's when I decided to go back to school to become a holistic health coach, because I learned that I was being a health coach for myself, but also to others and helping others. So basically that's how I started seeing change, and that's how I was able to maintain a steady weight. I was able to maintain my emotions and getting out of depression and managing my stress. And that's when I started getting better at work and all that stuff as well. So that's basically everything in a nutshell. It was a struggle for 20 years. It seems like it's a minute just by me explaining it, but it was a long journey that actually made me who I am today. So I'm actually grateful for everything that I've been through.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. And especially to hear the way that you describe your journey is so fresh. Like it's such a fresh perspective, like a breath of fresh air in a sense, because the way that I also describe the way that I have made it through my 30-day fasts and 45-day fast has been with the abundance mentality. Because, I think, well, so what do we do every day, right? Like on a regular day, meal preps are part of it too, like with family, and we all sit down and have, a meal. If I'm abstaining from that, what am I going to do with that extra time? So I always tell people, like, hey, the key to make it through these cleanses is not only what you eat, how you drink it, or how you prepare, and it's also like, well, what are you going to do with the spare time? Like, are you going to journal? Are you going to go on meditation, try to do a daily meditation and increase your time? Are you going to do yoga, stretching, and really allow your body to release the tension and the muscle? Not only abstaining from the food, but also abstaining from thoughts, and sure. and doing a vision board, and focusing on your why. Those are the things that I like to add to my to my personal fast. And that's also the way I explain it to other people, because some, that's the way I'm able to make it through. Some people don't make it through those fasts because they just like, well, I'm not eating, I'm not lack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's such a fresh perspective to hear your approach, and I'm able to connect with you in that because I totally understand.
Yes. And our bodies need those nutrients. I mean, a lot of times we believe that we are to eliminate carbohydrates, for example, or chemicals or processed food, but what are we adding instead? Same thing with the thoughts and the emotions. If we are being, in a space of wanting to welcome abundance, we have to allow that space, and we have to think about what we can adding value. We have to add value to our plate, add value to our emotions and our feelings, so that we can switch into that environment of abundance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you how does it go how does it go with you in the conversation when you're explaining to somebody this new paradigm?
Yes.
Like, how does that go? Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Well, it started by me sharing my story, obviously, like we did today, but also my practice is learning what my clients are going through, and that's when I ask high mileage questions to understand their thought patterns and how they're eating, and it's not only about food and spirituality, but sometimes they're experiencing imbalances in their relationships, or they're being unhappy at work. And if we have any imbalances in other areas besides food and exercise and our mindset, we're unhealthy. So it's a matter of connecting with the person and connecting with my people to understand what they are going through, so that I can then coach them as far as a new mindset and a new lifestyle that they can incorporate for their specific need, because everybody is different. It's called bio-individuality. A tomato, for example, might be good for you, but might not be good for me. So it all depends on what our specific bodies need and like and require and want, so that we can connect more with that, especially when it comes to nature derived. Because a lot of clients tell me, yeah, Olga, well, if I listen to my body is asking me for French fries. So we have to be careful when we say, okay, listen to our bodies, but what I'm talking about is listen to the body. Okay, if the body wants French fries, what it really wants is omega fatty acids. Or perhaps what is the cause that you're craving French fries? Is it because you have some emotions going on that is allowing you to go that route, or you're unhappy in your career, or you're unhappy at home, or you're not exercising enough to manage your vibration, because our bodies are vibration. We're energy vibrating in different frequencies, and it needs movement. So there is a lot of things beyond what we think we want. We need to think about, okay, what is it that I really need right now? What is it that I need? Perhaps it's a nap. Perhaps it's affirmations. We talked about vision board. Vision board is extremely important because it helps us to reconnect with what our purpose is when it comes to this path in life, this journey, and affirmations has a lot to do with it, and for those that don't know what affirmations are, is just declarations of who you are. For example, I can do, be, or have anything, or I am beautiful, or I am worthy. And those are strong declarations that we can tell ourselves daily that helps us to be in that path of abundance, of purpose, so that we can reach and be and do or have anything we want in our lives.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And I love two things really stuck out. Many things, but what I want to continue is that you said you ask clients high mileage questions. What are those?
Yeah, those questions, for example, are questions that I would ask them. What is it that they really want, or what is it that what is their outcome? What is it that they want to achieve? Sometimes they tell me, "Oh, I want to lose weight," but why is it that you really want to lose weight? Is it because you want to feel more valuable, or you want to love yourself more? And sometimes it takes deeper question than just, okay, what is it that you really want to achieve? And a lot of times we think that, okay, we want that bigger house, or we want that bigger car, or that brand new car, but what we really want is feel secure. What we really want is feel confident and feel, all these emotions that a lot of times we think the having of that is what is bringing that feeling. So asking high mileage questions helps me as a coach to determine what that person is really seeking as far as emotions and feelings, so that they can actually achieve it, because it starts there. It starts with already feeling abundant, already feeling that you are confident and you are beautiful, no matter your weight, no matter what you're going through, you are beautiful because you're a powerful being and a powerful creator. And when we are in that space of abundant, of feeling good about ourselves, that's when we allow the doors to open, and that's how we allow the opportunities to come to us, so that we can then have what we really desire, which is obviously, besides the emotions, is obviously all of the things we want in our lives, great relationship, health, ability to maintain a healthy weight, anything like that. But it starts really with those emotions and getting there. So that's when I meant by asking high mileage questions, so that I can determine really what they really want is inside.
Yeah, high value questions like you can really draw a lot from, because I also find it very, very eloquent, very, very right in the way that you think in terms of how you approach the situation with individuals who seek help, is those deeper questions, because then once you align yourself with the purpose of your life, once you align yourself with that, healing comes also.
Oh, yes.
Because the body is an instrument, and sometimes a lot of things happen to us, or at least has happened to me, that are just signs of like what's going on. Like, for example, I'm not going to be elusive because a lot of people want to know these things. So I'm very sensitive with skin, and a lot of times maybe when I'm angry, there's irritation, right? But irritation then goes deeper, and then it goes deeper, and then it manifests on the physical.
Right.
And so I'm irritated, scratching, the need to always like find something, or and not really or looking for something. Are you looking for something? Because when you're digging,
yes,
you're like looking for something like underground.
Right.
So maybe we're looking for a way out, and and emotionally that manifests into a rash, and we're like scratching, and
exactly,
and that can come from this mentality of lack.
Mm-hmm.
Like I even mentioned before, my mentor put the body in a simple instrument form, in the sense like how to measure something, and he said alkaline or acidic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was his method of utilizing it. The way I personally have been understanding that is that even that the thought forms, the lack mentality, all these things cause acidity, right? Because that's how the scratch can manifest itself through,
right,
through how the body's reacting, because we are energy, right?
Right.
Well, our heart is beating, and if your heart gives out, they take a thing to electrify it, right? So it is something that we are electricity, energy, and that can manifest in many ways, and I'm sure you've seen it with your clients.
Yes, for sure. And this disease is really a body that is in unease. So when we're resisting a lot of things in our life, resisting, for example, the present moment, or perhaps circumstances that we have in our lives that we are preventing to allow it to happen, that's when our body starts feeling it. That's when the stress levels go up. That's when we can start feeling migraines and itches, and you name it. It's whatever the body is it's wanting to release through that resistance. So it's important for us to understand that everything always works out. We are always at the right time at the right place, even though we don't think so, because everything we need and everything we want and everything that happens in our lives right now is a part of what we need to have in order to become what we want. For example, I had to go through this weight struggle that I went through, because otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you right now and helping the community and helping people to touch with their higher consciousness. So everything that happens, we have to be grateful for it. We have to allow it to be there and embrace it, really, so that we can then again open the doors for opportunities. Because when we are resisting, that's when the body is feeling it. We have more cells and more bacteria. More bacteria in our bodies than we have DNA cells, and they're feeling our emotions. So it's really important to, again, focus on the present moment and focus on getting to that state of allowing rather than resisting, so that the body can heal and the body can be the best version of it.
of itself, right?
Yeah, itself, yeah.
Yeah, be the best version. And I love the way you put you explain because bacteria and cells are living beings within us, so they're always moving.
Right.
There's movement everywhere. That's why it's important to realize that. And sometimes we are being shown to move in a different direction in our lives. So what would you say? Because that's one of the things that I was meditating on as you were talking. I was like, well, resisting. Well, what about situations that that show up that may not necessarily make ourselves feel good? I think personally the key to that is feeling it, being present, right? Feeling, okay, well, this makes me feel really uncomfortable. Why does it make me feel uncomfortable? It makes me feel uncomfortable because of XYZ. So what is that? Do I want to continue or not? Like, I find that the way we react to situations is the most important. It's not really the outcome.
Right. Correct. Because, for example, I'll take the example of getting a flat tire. It's not a very pleasant experience to go through, but perhaps that flat tire event had to occur so that we can be saved from an accident, or perhaps somebody that will be helping us is that person we need, and it's a key element to our life that is going to help us with what we desire. So a lot of times we think that things are bad or things that happen, we don't like the situation, but we have to trust, we have to believe that whatever happens in our lives is a key element to what we need in order to move forward. If it's spiritual growth, if it's connections, whatever that may be. And when we do experience that emotion of fear or worry or anxiety, when we acknowledge it, that's just an indication. It's a precious gift that we have, those negative emotions. And they're just indications. They're just red flags telling us that, hey, whatever you're thinking is not in alignment with who you are. It's just a matter, it's just a way of the universe telling us, hey, whatever you're thinking is not in alignment. So then ask yourself, what can I think about that helps me feel better? Which is trust, believing that everything is okay. Everything's okay. And we are able to talk to those emotions when those fear and those worry and that anxiety comes in. Be present and acknowledge that they're there, and be thankful and tell them, we're okay. I understand you want to protect me. And a lot of times that fear pops in because of something that happened in our past, or we're traumatized or something, and it's just showing up because it's protecting us, but we're okay. Everything is okay. And having that conversation, having that relationship, a good relationship with those negative emotions within ourselves, is going to help us manage that, so that we can have actually control to feel abundant again and feel confident and feel secure. And that's when affirmations help us to be back in that present moment, because when we try to avoid those negative emotions, it becomes bigger. Whatever we focus on becomes bigger. So all we can do really is then to make a decision to switch to the positive emotion, so that can become bigger. Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to say, what are the top 3 affirmations that you personally do, or the what you recommend to individuals that are being coached by you?
Yeah. First one is everything works out, and that I got from one of my mentors, Abraham Hicks, which I'm a big fan.
I love Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of her. Everything always works out, and that just gives us the opportunity to trust everything that happens and just be in that space that it's okay. Everything that happens is okay. And when we create that, and when we are affirming that, that's when the universe allows us to give us opportunities that things are always working out for us. It starts with us. We are collaboratively working with our higher consciousness to create our lives, but it starts with us. We are the seed that we have to plant first so that it responds back to us. That's one of them.
One of them is everything works out.
Everything always works out.
Always works out. For me, or just say always works out.
Everything always works out. You can add for you, for me, for my
everyone.
family. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
For my environment.
Beautiful.
Yes. That's one of the first one. And the second one is that I can be, do, or have anything I want in my life.
Ooh.
Not just
that's big.
Yeah, not just material things, because that's a result from our emotions, right, from our present. But I can be, do or have anything emotionally as well. meaning I am beautiful, I am valuable, I'm worthy, my voice matters. All of these things that we can add, but I can be, do, or have anything I want in my life. And anybody that is listening today, I'm encouraging you to also believe that you can do, be, or have anything you want in your life, because we are a powerful creator here on earth. And then the third one is I am healthy. I am healthy. I'm always healthy. The body is always healing itself. It's always like, look at the plants, for example. They grow without effort. That's levity, right? Instead of gravity, everything going down. Plants have levity in it, and our bodies also have levity. So our blood doesn't struggle to go to our brain from our leg, for example. And plants don't struggle to go up. They're just there. It's effortlessly growing. So I am healthy, and that's huge. When I say health and when we talk about wellness and health, it's huge. It's not just food and exercise. It's our mindset. It's our connection with our spirituality, our social life, having balance at home, finances, career, money, all of that stuff is also health. And if we, don't feel healthy and in balance with any of those, then we can't be healthy. So I am healthy. When I say that, I'm focusing on all those aspects, which is really the circle of life,
right.
All those aspects.
Wow, those are beautiful. Thank you for sharing those.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they do open up. I guess I'm trying to find the right word to describe it here. It's like an opening of a can of worms in the closet. Because if you say I can be, do, or have anything that I want, then it's like, no, you can't. Like in the background, it's like, who says that? And then you that's when like all these things start to come together. Like, well, my dad always taught me.
There we go. Yeah.
So are you believing your dad's point of view or money, about wellness, about relationships, or what are you really? Right. And for me, it's. So I studied religion in the University of Florida here in Florida. It's the best. I consider it one of the best schools. It's one of the largest state schools, and I focus my studies in religion because I come prior to that I've come from Christianity in that background, and it's just an interesting perspective that I've had to through my studies. Of course, I've discovered many things, but there are things that I just didn't agree anymore in my life, including certain beliefs and certain things that I've been instilled, and it takes that to really go forward, because there's a nice metaphor about the cup being full, and you must always you can't be walking around with a cup full expecting to be filled.
Right.
So we have to go through that's why healing is so necessary, and that's why the healing arts exist. Because I've often thought like, well, why does healing exist, and why do we need to heal, and why? But it's just a way of that the evolution is evolving itself. Just like we evolve physically, and some say through science we evolved from a single cell life form. That's fine and all and dandy, but the way that I'm seeing evolution now is like, well, we must evolve beyond war to exist, and how do we do that? Well, by really feeling the pain of what war brings,
right? Yeah.
And really understanding that, like, hey, we really need to get away from this, and by really empathizing. So it comes with feeling and being present, because there's a lot of things that exist that are numbing folks out there, and the conversations and the connections that are being offered to us are not being taken advantage of. For example, we're connecting through a medium, right? And we're connecting with other people across the world. Right. I see that technology should be utilized more in those forms, and less to entertain because a lot of people are not accessing the wisdom within. Like you said, we're listening to everything around, but we're not listening within.
Right.
And these practices take time. It takes investment. To say, I'm worthy of time and investment.
Right.
So I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes and breathe. Right? So people say, I don't have time. Well, who are you giving your time to, right?
Right.
Are you giving some time to yourself? And that's key, because that's how I had to heal. And I as a young person, it was difficult because I had to step away from situations that compromised my path. Like I turned 21. I was legal to drink at 22. I totally gave it up. I was like, well, this is not for me. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I started doing that because the sensitive of my skin, being sensitive of my skin, like I mentioned earlier, I was drinking the beer that had yeast. So all these things made my skin and my scalp like be on fire. And so I just said, alcohol dries, right? We know this because we use it to, you feel your skin, even if you use rubbing alcohol, you feel it. And so that's what happens with me and what got me on my path. So a lot of times we have to understand the abundance mentality of it's like, well, I want friends that are in the vibrational alignment with me, and we can go to a juice bar.
Right.
Because there are people, whoa, I don't want to switch my diet, because what about Johnny? We go every Friday to Checkers and wild out. you know?
Yeah.
But what are we really compromising? Are you compromising your health and your path? Because we shouldn't let obesity and ill health get in the way of what we want.
Correct.
We can't allow that. You know, if you want to have a partner that you can play basketball with and you can work out in the gym, like we have to be that also. So we just have to be in the situation where we can get that.
Right.
So it takes a lot of like love to self. I was gonna say commitment to self, that also plays in, but it does take love. The love of self to really invest time and see yourself as worthy. And that really ties into all the things you've been saying.
Right. Exactly. Because, we do have all of this negative emotions and thoughts telling us, hey, no, well, maybe you can't. Or are you sure you can be or do or have anything you want in your life? And those are those insecurities that we have. And all of us have it, including myself. And it's, again, you know, when we do get those emotions, is to acknowledge them and be thankful for them, and then make a conscious decision and a conscious effort to change it, because our life only depends on us. There is a lot of outsiders, like you've said, you know, people that are outside of our lives, you know, parents, kids, friends, family, co-workers, all of these beautiful people that we've manifested in our life. But if we're not there for ourselves, who will be? When we do take time to develop ourselves and invest in ourselves, and take time to invest in self-growth, then we can be much better co-workers, and we can be much better daughters and much better siblings. But it starts with us giving ourselves that love and that time first. And a lot of times, you know, in this environment, we're always giving. We're giving to our kids, giving to our co-workers, giving to our friends. And like you said, we don't have time for ourselves, and then we're jeopardizing our life. But when we make a conscious effort, I always tell my clients, book a calendar invite on your calendar for yourself for 10-15 minutes breathing, during lunch, or 15 minutes to do affirmations or to write in your journal, whatever that is for you, depending on each specific person. Write it down, make an appointment with yourself. And that little investment that you're giving yourself is going to have so much fruit in the end result, that is, you're going to be able to be there for your kids and your families and your coworker and yourself. So it's like business, right? We need to invest a little bit so that we can get more out of it. So we need to invest in ourselves as well to be able to do that.
Wow, yeah. And they say, so we're in a perfect time because it's Saturday now. I mean, people will be listening to it later on, and we want to also let them have this idea that I'm gonna throw out here, which today, we can start today, like booking these things. That's a great, I like to challenge everybody listening to do that, because I'm gonna do it. Which is that, like, hey, breathe for 10 minutes, just take time, because I love to meditate, and I used to do that so much, and it kept me so grounded while I was going through my academics, because it took a lot of effort to complete my studies, and I happened to graduate summa cum laude out of my class. Wow. Because I made the effort. But again, it was my abundance mentality, because I said, I want that. I want to go far. I want to achieve a lot, and I want to make my parents proud, and I can't wait to see their face, and I can't wait, right. And because I did that, when I had to stay and study, and when I had to eat my lunch and prepare my food, and go in and out of campus, and all the things that I did for myself, I didn't see it as lack. I didn't see it as like, well, I'm restricting myself from having fun or whatever. Like, I just did the things that mattered to me most, right. Which is to take the time, and it was well worth it. I saw my family come over, and I say that just so that way the people out there can take that example. To get in the abundance mentality, to say, well, 10 minutes, come on, I got 10 minutes. Right. Let me write that in my calendar, and let me put that forward into my life, and see how it changes. Right. Try it for a week, try it for a day, and see if you want to continue. I'd say probably more than a day, it will be better, right? Because then you can actually get tangible results. Right.
I always say at least 21 days, because it takes about 21 days to implement a new habit. But anything you can do, if it's, again, asking that question, what can I add today that adds value to my plate, to my life, and to my health? And asking yourself, what did I add today? Okay, did I have my green juice? Or did I give myself that 5-10 minutes? So it's an everyday thing. But if we can, if we are able to maintain it for at least a few days, a few weeks, then everything we have is better than what we didn't have, right? So it takes that, and thanks for sharing that example, because myself also, I did graduate with cum laude as well for my bachelor's and my master's, and I remember, awesome. And I remember exactly what you said, like taking time to invest in myself and being okay with saying no, and not that no means I'm not there for others, but a no means right now I'm putting myself first, and that's a great example as far as how you've been able to focus your mind and have that abundance mentality that allowed you then to reach that dream, that goal that you had of achieving and being, an overachiever at school. So I do relate with that, and I do want to inspire and motivate all our listeners to remember that it takes you. That's all it takes. It's yourself, to give to yourself time and give to yourself hope and belief, so that you can achieve not just your health goals but your life goals.
Yeah, it's all about starting with yourself and reciprocating that abundance out, right? Because you travel a lot, and you know that when you go on an airplane, they say, well, if we have cabin pressure dropping, please put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right, and then on other people.
Great example. Perfect example.
Yeah, so it takes some time investment, and that's why I put this platform here, which is the Wellness Revolution, because there are people out there looking, and there will be people listening, and there will be people that are investing time even to say, well, I want to hear how I can improve my life. And I want to commend everybody that's there, because it took that. I was once, there where I was looking for guidance, and now I'm thinking of myself even studying how it was. I was listening to podcasts and listening to people that had what I want, which is health and knowledge and wisdom to be able to navigate through life and make the most impact. And in terms of navigating, I really want to get into the pillars that you have set up, because I think it's wonderful for people to get a little more into your craft, because it is a craft, and there may be people that will listen and won't ever get a program from either you or me, but they may reach out to a local near them, and we encourage that because it's mentorship. Is like, guys, you know, there are people out there that know what they're doing, and make sure you not only listen to yourself, but also listen to yourself when you know it's time that you need guidance, because that's what happened to me. And that's an important aspect of what I have in my platform, which I'll tell the listeners at the end of the show. But I want to talk about that if you would like to.
Yeah, sure. And you're right when you say, listen to somebody that has what you want, or has what you want. But not just that, but who do you listen to? If we're listening to somebody that is negative or has struggles or is not going anywhere, then we have to ask ourselves, who are you listening to? Listen to people that can bring you forward, then people that have what you want and can help you get there. So that's important. And as a health coach myself, I take a lot of time to self-develop myself, listening to people, spiritual teachers, and people that have what I want, which is, total bliss and happiness and alignment, and just, you name it, that consciousness stage. I don't even know how to call it, but you know what I mean. Just that consciousness, that just beingness of happiness. And in my 7 weeks program, what I've developed is 7 steps to actually implementing a lifestyle, because as we talked about, diets really don't work. Those are all temporary. Counting calories also, I mean, that's another area which if we go into it, it's just a different program, but it's about those nutrients that we need, really, because you can't compare the amount of nutrients that we have in an apple compared to nutrients in a processed apple candy, for example. But my program and my coaching practice goes into 7 steps, which is the first being the mindset. We have to understand what the mind is. We have to understand why it is important to have positive feelings and positive thoughts, and not just thoughts, but the emotions, because when we feel positive, even though things around us are negative, and we still have that hope and that consciousness of presence, then we are able to open doors around us. So it starts with the mindset. The second part is the body. Like we talked about, the body is energy vibrating in different frequencies. And when we are connected with our bodies, we are connected with our chakras, we are connected with our intuition. And when we take care of our bodies by implementing physical activity and stretching, yoga, all of these things, then it helps us to connect really with who we are. Part 3 is nutrition, holistic nutrition, specifically. How can we add more nature-derived, plant-based nutrients in our bodies? And we have a whole range of that. We have superfoods, super herbs, fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds. We have so many different plants out there that can help with anything we need, like when it comes to focusing, energy, sleep. Anything we need is within our nature, our nature-derived plants, right? So how can we implement more of nature-derived foods into our life? And then number 4, it's spirituality. Everybody has their own spiritual practices, but how can we connect more with that? Number 5 is relationship with yourself, having a better relationship with yourself, loving yourself. And then also, what's your relationship with your higher self, with the universe, with the planet? That's huge. And when we start connecting with that, we're also able to become the best version of ourselves. And then how can we have better relationship with any other human being? And then part 6 is having a stable relationship with your career and with money and finances. How can you love your job or find a job that you love and being in alignment with it? Because we have to find a way to love what we are doing right now, really honor it and be grateful for it, so that other doors can open in our lives. And then the last one is lifestyle. How can we implement everything from mindset, body, nutrition, spirituality, relationships, and career, and all these things that we've talked about, and then create a lifestyle that is specifically for us, because everybody is different, everybody likes different things, but then how can we implement a specific lifestyle that works for us? So when we focus on all these 7 steps, we're able then to implement a lifestyle that we can attain, which is important. Not just have and temporarily have like a diet, but that we can achieve for the rest of our lives.
Wow, that's quite a number of steps that I think takes all things into consideration. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I like to say, so just really quickly, what you say, being happy with what we're doing right now and honoring what we're doing right now,
Right.
for other doors to open. That is so key, because like by saying that, it's like being okay right now. You don't have to wait till you get this or that to be okay. It's like, be okay right now.
Right. And this present moment is the most important time of our lives. It's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a right now. So right now in this moment is when we have the opportunity to be in a frequency, be in a vibration of abundance. This present moment is the most important. So use it wisely.
Beautiful. Olga, how can the listeners find you?
Yes, they can find me on my website, olgajob.com. That's OLGA, job, like work.com. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Google Plus, YouTube. But all that information, they can find it on my website under Connect With Me. And then I'm also offering a 45 minutes free consultation. If anybody would like to talk to me, I'll be happy to hear what the speakers have in their mind and how I can be of value and of service to them. So they can reach out, and they'll be able to schedule a free consultation with me online via my website under Work With Me.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And I definitely will be doing a post about this. We're gonna have it in podcast form, available, online on demand. And this is Wellness Revolution, and we want to thank the listeners now and in the future. And you can also find information about what I am doing personally by visiting earthrayliving.com. I'll spell it out, EARTHREI living.com. And I have information about the services that I do in terms of health and wellness. But I have the Wellness Revolution tab, which you will find your picture there, and listeners can click there for the link to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, and just add value, and continue to add value to people's lives. And like we touched upon so many interesting things that we know we will have to do another show next time and really go into the detail as far as nutrition, because a lot of folks count calories and they don't really realize that they need to be counting chemicals when they buy things.
Exactly.
They need to look at the ingredients and list,
For
and,
sure.
and those are the things that allow us to be more aware and present, because that we wanna also live in we're reassuring ourselves that we're making the best choices, and it comes with being present when looking at what things we're buying and everything. So you can find Wellness Revolution on Instagram, Wellness Revolution _live. You can find us also on Facebook by Wellness Revolution, and you can find us on YouTube, which is where we have all the other shows we've done. And it has been a lovely addition to have you here today and have this lovely guest, Olga Job, here, and really detailing what it takes to be where she is, and also the things that we can do today to improve our lives. And don't forget those affirmations, and that could be what you can assign yourself, that you can start today. And also adding the things that you can add, because this is a lifestyle awakening. We want to awaken you to the lifestyle that works for you, and in this way create better opportunities for your life. So thank you so much for being here, and see you next time on Wellness Revolution, wholeness and balanced vibrations.
Thank you.
listening to Wellness Revolution with your host, Tommy Lockwood, wellness entrepreneur and media professional. Make sure to listen every Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time on WBRN Miami.com.